Hi, my name is Melissa Booth, and this is discussion 3, collaboration and communication with family. What I learned from watching the videos for this week's discussion is that communication between teachers and parents is paramount for the success of our students, their teachers, the schools, and the entire education system. Parents are the ones who can advocate for their children the best, and they are usually the ones who bring about change to the classroom and the system. So, clear and effective communication between teachers and parents is the best way to ensure our students are getting the best possible education. The first way I plan to open the line of communication with my students' parents is to provide a weekly newsletter starting on the first day of school. I plan to introduce myself, my contact information, and any other important information necessary for the school week and year. Each newsletter will contain my contact information. As a parent of 4, I know how easy it can be to lose papers and information, so I plan to make sure parents are given information weekly so they always have access to communication with me. In my newsletter, I will provide a variety of ways for parents to contact me, including text, phone, email, and social media. Another way I plan to open the line of communication with my parents is to give them opportunities to be involved in the educational process of their children. During the first week of school and throughout the year, I plan to send surveys home with the newsletters. In the surveys, I will ask parents information about their children, like learning styles and needs, identities, personalities, favorites, preferences, family celebrations, and cultural backgrounds, etc. I will use these surveys to create lesson plans that center my students' varying needs, interests, and identities. I also plan to create a private social media page on Facebook or another social media platform for my classroom or classrooms. I taught first grade several years ago as a long-term substitute teacher, and the regular classroom teacher had created a private Facebook page for teacher-parent classroom communication. She used it to post homework, classroom news, reminders, pictures of the students during activities, and it was open for parents to make posts and ask questions. It was really helpful to have immediate and easy access for both the teachers and the parents. I also plan to open my physical classroom up for parent involvement. I plan to have parents come to my classroom and help in any way they can. In our school district, a parent simply needs to go through a background check with the school district free of cost to the parent, and then they can volunteer to help in the classroom, school, and on field trips. I would love to have as many parents as possible help me in any way they can. I remember parent volunteers being a large part of my educational experience in elementary school, and I have noticed it has not been as prevalent in recent years. I also understand there are far more two-parent working households today than there were when I was in elementary school in the 1980s, which is why I believe a social media classroom is a good opportunity for those parents to still be involved. I also plan to have as many open houses and other evening events as possible to ensure parents who work 9-to-5 jobs have the opportunity to meet with me in person and to see their students' progress. Lastly, I plan to have honest, open, kind, respectful, and positive communication with my students' parents about their children. It is very important that we do not just communicate with parents when their children are having issues, nor allow our students' issues to get too serious or unnecessarily complicated before we contact parents. I plan to reach out to all my students' parents to tell them all the good news about their children. I will contact them to let them know their children did well on an assignment, or were kind to another student, or created an amazing art project, etc. In this way, I will build relationships with my students' parents. Then, if there are any issues that need to be addressed, a level of trust and respect have already been established. When reaching out to parents to discuss concerns, I will make sure to use a compliment sandwich in which I provide all the good things the student is doing first, then discuss the concern with genuine care and willingness to listen to the parent's knowledge and suggestions. Then I will end the conversation reminding the parents how amazing their student is and how grateful I am to get to teach their student. Barriers I may face are language barriers, cultural barriers, and the nature of the fast-paced American life that prevents all of us from having enough time. I plan to overcome the language and cultural barriers by learning as much as I can about my students, their spoken languages at home, and their cultural norms. I'm currently trying to learn Spanish because I have a lot of students with Spanish-speaking parents or caregivers. I also plan to make use of other colleagues and my students in helping to interpret communication between myself and my students' Spanish-speaking parents. I also plan to make newsletters in English and Spanish, and I will have bilingual students involved in helping with that process. I plan to learn as much as I can about all my students' cultural backgrounds, incorporate that knowledge into classroom lessons, and learn and understand the different cultural norms that some of my students may use as signs of respect and compliance that I may not be used to experiencing. To overcome the barrier of the busyness of life for my students' parents, I plan to make sure to use a large variety of communication tools and to make sure my students' parents are always aware of the different ways to communicate with me. I also plan to be as open and flexible as possible so all my students' parents have an opportunity to stay connected. Thank you.